Too smooth that mud talking to have your ass in a wreck. Signing your check. Pussy better do what he says. We shutting down shows. Ain't gotta put no price in your head. Man, I'm coming for your tongue for all that shit that you said.
Gonna make the heat go boom, 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 boom. What it is, I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. As you can tell by that thumbnail right there, yes, indeed, I wrote graffiti, another profile, and you're saying to yourself, so I was getting gun. Trip out. Who is this vato right here with the big old Huelga bird on the face? Orale, Huelga up, a big old 14 on his throat. Sabes que he was representing to the fullest righteously, right? You know, in fact, he was. At the same time, rest in peace to this individual who died at the tender age of 20 years old. He was still a young man. And it's not a laughing matter, man, because mental illness played a big part into his death. In fact, it played the majority of the death. You know, sometimes when your mind's playing tricks on you like Bushwick Bill, so I was scared this year Halloween's going to fall on the weekend and you and the ghetto boys will go trick-or-treating. And in fact, this guy had bipolar disease, schizophrenia, but so I was scared we're going to get to all that. As you can tell by that thumbnail right there, we're talking about one Carlos Umana, the Salt Lake City, Utah. Yes, a northerner representing out of Salt Lake City amongst many, man. Righteously so. They're out there Bangladeshing. It's all good. Menudo style, direct fashion. You know what it is, man. I felt that if for no other reason, we should keep this guy's legacy going. We should put his story out there and his name out there. If not for helping himself, you know, and his legacy to thrive, but also to maybe help someone out there who's suffering the same demons that this vato suffered. Now, Carlos Umana, you know, growing up, he was a young kid, a good kid, you know, but at a very young age, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. Now, sabes que I have a tío. No, not Pedro Tupaca. I have a tío that actually goes through the same things, locks himself in rooms and rips all his fucking hair out. So I was get plenty of times I had to go drag him out by the greña that he had left. And so I was get, it's time for dinner. Hey, but I'm in the middle of something. I know what you're in the middle of something. Puta, you're ripping the hair from your back and the back of your head. So I was we're not going to get down like that. Because at the same time, I'm not trying to catch an assault. Well, it wasn't you that did it. So I was no, what I'm going to do after you for acting like a baboso. It was because I didn't really know the circumstances and the things that my own tío was going through. You know, these vatos literally and actually hear voices in their mind state, in their mentality. You know, they hear fucking a devil or angel, you know, talking to them, telling them to do something to their family members, telling them to cut themselves, telling them to do several things. Now, see, I've never went through that motion. You got me feeling emotions. Like Mariah Carey, I've never been through that. But at the same time, I've had family members that have suffered through it and are currently suffering through it. So I feel this kid's pain. I feel this kid's emotions, you know, that he went through. And sabes que, if for no other reason, I should construct this content right here to let it be known, we are with you as a brown people, my brown brother, and we're going to keep your legacy and your name shining. Now, trip out. As a young kid, he was diagnosed with this, right? And according to his mother, he never gave her too many problems, but he started to hang around just like I did myself with a lot of the young cats around the neighborhood. He lived in a predominantly Norteno neighborhood. Of course, I've already spoke on it in several different spills on Gunners Collective, as well as right here on the profiles. There are a lot of Norteños establishing in Salt Lake City, Utah, Ogden, several different areas of Utah. The establishment is real. Flags are planted. Norte, Huelga birds y todo, oh my, big tone and all that, right? Vatos are really gigging out there. And righteously so, they've gained their respect. They've garnered the attention that they needed to implement whatever they have going on in their hoods. And sabes que, they're to be well respected and adhered to, because at the end of the day, man, if it's a Chicano striving or a Mexicano striving, you know, sabes que, hey, you got my vote. Vato, sabes que, hey, free the gente. But at the same time, this youngster growing up in this atmosphere and these gang-ridden streets in this neighborhood, of course he adapted. You know, he adapted and he's seen something there that sparked a flame in his mind. Now, it could have been his own inner demons talking to him, talking about, hey, Simon, the wind's blowing, go over there and kick it with the gente, right? Or at the same time, man, it could have just been that gravitation and that pull, the same pull that pulled me, meaning the righteousness and the forever forwardness of the gente and wanting to just do something good for my people. And so I was basically wanting a gangbang, right? Whatever the case may be, one will never know, does one, because he's no longer here to tell his tale. So I must tell it for him, or at least I'm taking the initiative to, because he's a forgotten soul. So I don't forget about nothing or no one. Bang, bang. And in that fashion. But trip out. So Carlos Umana, he basically had a childhood just like a lot of ours. Tortillas, frijoles, oh my. You know, watching Cat Williams on TV like, this Africano funny. George Lopez y todo. I can't breathe. He did a lot of the same things that we did in the same time era. Now, at the same time, he was a youngster, a 20-year-old man when he did suffered his demise when he passed away. Now that's very young. You ask yourself, well, how can you establish a legacy or anything going to be speaking on this individual? It's not necessarily the man, but it's what went into the story that's more impressive, or not even impressive. I won't say that word because that's the bad word to use. I would say more intriguing. He suffered mental illness. And I wanted to bring some awareness as Raza. A lot of us suffer, bad things. I myself suffer. I was institutionalized for a long time when I got out of prison. ¿Sabes qué? When I went to the store, I had my back to the wall. ¿Sabes qué? With my hands up right there between my cachetes. Because ¿sabes qué? I didn't want the pedazo to fall out. Oh, yes. I got out and I almost hooked the pedazo, right? I didn't know what time it was. ¿Sabes qué? I could have just went to the store and got un butterfly knife, right? But at the same time, my mind state was institutionalized. I still was in prison. I talked about it every day. I continue to talk about it every day. Only this time I get paid for it. But at that time, man, it was what was going through my mind, what was on my mentality. That was suffering from a mental illness. I was suffering for something that triggered my mind to think only about prison, always about prison. Now, I seen a lot of harsh reality in there. I was involved in a lot of stuff. I walked them yardas, them 4 yards, them 3 yards. I was involved in fucking several removals. Hey, I was ducking and diving like that. All you can. I was handling my business when I had to handle my business. And at the same time, this played an intricate part into my mental mind state and fucked me all up. I didn't know if I was coming or going. You know what I mean? It was all good in the hood, but at the same time, I wasn't, right? And I couldn't tell no one and express it because I didn't want to be looked at as a bofo, a baboso. But at the same time, man, I was screaming for help, but it's okay. Man, no one even cares about me. At the end of the day, it's just me against the world. Orale, Tupac, I know how you feel, pero without the funny charges. You understand what I'm saying? So anyways, this kid, Carlos Umana, he actually gets incarcerated. He starts to hang out with the homeboys and do a little bit of this and that. And just like anyone, he takes those proper steps into becoming a Norteno, a northerner, and he's embraced with the canalismo, and the homies are feeling his get down. Now you could tell the Vato has some type of illness right from the gate because the Vato has a big old huelga bird tattooed on his face. So he's famous for that. If you Google it, so it's huelga bird, there he is, pata like a chima, like Alvin, con un Alvin, like this, watch out. With a huelga bird on his face. Rest in peace of respect. So I'm not meaning to desecrate your name at all, but at the same time, I will say, that stood out to me. That popped out because I had never seen that before. I've seen a lot of homeboys, gente, with estrellas right here on their forehead, huelga birds, things of that nature. Huelgas right here around their neck area. A lot of homeboys get a lot of tacas for the representation of the norte or for their cause and what they believe in. And ain't nothing wrong with that. But the huelga on the whole face with the head way up here, that was a little bit different, I was aghast at it when I seen it. So I had never seen it. I was like, damn, his representation, the Vato was solid. He was really about that huelga. The strike was real with his. So that's what he was notably known for or stood out to everyone. Of course, he had a big old 14 on his throat. The Vato was repping. And ain't nothing wrong with repping your hood and being proud of your organization or where you're from. First and foremost, I would be amiss to say something's wrong with that. I got several tattoos representing. I got several huelga birds on my body representing because at one point in time, that was my movement. That was my bang. That was my everything. That was my everything and my only thing. Vato. And at the end of the day, ¿sabes qué? I'm right here. I'm still standing, barely, but I'm barely making it. But he was repping. So of course he started to get caught up in a lot of petty crime, and then he gravitated into more serious things like felonies. And he got caught up in a stabbing on the streets of Salt Lake City, Utah, for which him and a crime partner actually booked someone. Whether it was a Sureño or a Norteño, I can't call it like an alcoholic. I didn't dig that deep into the conversation or to the story that I was told. But what I do know is that he did catch a pegada, a stabbing on the streets, for which they charged him attempted murder. The wind wasn't blowing in his favor, right? So this man gets an attempted murder. Now, of course, he's in his element. As a youngster, he's probably nervous. He's thinking, I don't even know what's going to happen to me. No Leroy, right? He doesn't want to get set up with Leroy. And of course, he's functioning with the homeboys and he's an active Norteño, so he's to be respected as such. And he's doing his thing, man. This guy was never in bad standings. He was never in, where the homeboys looked at him like a pendejo. They probably said, what, that's crazy, right? But at the same time, it never was an issue where he was in bad standings or he wasn't going to do what he had to do. The Vato knew what he signed up for, Saskia. And when he signed on the dotted line, he did it not only in tinta, but in sangre, right? And so he went in as a whole man facing an attempted murder, striving like pinta bound, and left in a pine box. And we're going to get to that. So what happens is, little did the homeboys know where the embracement was, that this Vato had suffered these illnesses as a child. He had been dealing with this this depression, this bipolar, this schizophrenia, and he kept it to himself. Now the homeboys, and I talked to Vato from Salt Lake City, he told me it was a little odd. Vato was a little odd, but at the same time, he was down for the cause, and that's all that matters, man. A soldado, the manpower, the representation of Vato that's down for la casa is to be embraced and utilized for that. You know, manpower is manpower. So we're up short everywhere we go. So we need him, right? Plus, he's well got up. So he's the mascot. Con un fucking gangster. So it was all good. Now, this individual, he actually was suffering, though. You know, his inner demons were becoming worse and worse. And as you grow older, from what I heard from people that suffer these type of illnesses, it gets worse unless you're taking medication or you reach out to some doctor that helps you. Sometimes there's no medication that can help you. And what you need to do is have someone to speak to, someone to talk to. You know, that's why on the side, I do some mentoring shit for people that are doing bad. So, oh, you guys didn't know that though, huh? You're just in it for the money. You're a sucker, right? No, trip out. I'm in it for the brown, right? And if I can make a little money doing it, so I'll do that too. But at the same time, this guy needed someone to cry out to. He needed help. You know, the homeboys were too busy maintaining and doing their thing, so he was not getting that help. And he started to succumb to that. Okay, so what happened was, while being incarcerated and facing in the county jail, Salt Lake City, while facing this attempted murder, he gets caught up in a removal. He actually does a removal, a hands-on removal, and of course the homeboys go to the oil. So now he's in administrative segregation on walk alone, celled alone by himself. So Sasuke, now his demons really have it. That's all the other Sasuke. Who can you run to? You know, there ain't no escape. This ain't so dead. Watch out. He's in trouble because now he can only talk to himself, and now them inner demons, man, that are fighting to get out have all the action they want. Sasuke, they got all that smoke, right? So he starts to really go through it, and it starts to become noticeable to the staff, to the COs, to the guards, the sheriffs. And what he does is he starts believing that they're poisoning him, that they're poisoning his food. Now, mind you, when this man went into jail, he was 5'7", 180 pounds. Not the biggest vato on the block, but Sasuke healthy enough to maintain. Okay, that's an average weight for that height. Sasuke, it ain't like the gun, but it's there. You know, he was there. He was healthy. And there were several videos 2 weeks prior to him getting locked in. Now, you got to understand, this happened just a couple of weeks into his bid. Okay, it wasn't like he was there for months. Sasuke, fuck this, bro. You know what I mean? Sasuke, I'm not going to eat no more. None of that happened. What happened was this vato was there already only for 2 weeks when he succumbed and he passed away. So this is how the get down went. He started to refuse to eat because he believed that the administration, that the guards were poisoning his food. And you can see where someone with that mental mind state can think that. You know, obviously, he wasn't all there. And instead of the staff focusing on that and seeing it for what it was, you know, you can tell when someone's zoned out. Hey, watch out. I want to scant it out in a real way. See the wind's blowing that way? That's coca, right? You can tell when someone's inebriated and they're not their normal self. At the same time, they were not paying attention enough. And that's the same old love song. What happens in several county jails and a lot of prisons is where the administration or the COs that are working are not paying attention to the individuals. Instead of reforming and helping and utilizing the skills, the basic skills that they have to, you know, basically to stay aware and realize something ain't right here, Charlie, they didn't do none of that. You know, and at the same time, what happens is his body started to deteriorate because he refused to eat. You know, for a while he survived on cantina, but when the cantina ran out and when he had no more action at cantina, Sasuke, you already know, you're hungry in prison or in jail. Sasuke, hey, yo quiero un tuna sandwich. Can I get the extra tuna sandwich? Please, I beg you. Give me the powers, I beg of you. You know what I mean? You need that issue. Even an extra orange, vato, or extra un huevo, un egg. You know what I mean? Anything to sustain your life force. But this vato didn't have none of that. And he started to struggle because his inner demons and his mentality was telling him, Charlie, don't eat. They're trying to book you. They're trying to kill you. And meanwhile, his body was deteriorating and wasn't able to put up that fight. So about 2 weeks later, when he had dropped all the way to 77 pounds. Now, mind you, in 2 weeks, from 180, Sasuke plummeted to 77 pounds. My print's bigger than that, right? So when Vato plummeted to 77 pounds, oh, now all of a sudden, the administration realizes, you know, they didn't realize when his trays were getting refused or they were coming back fully fat, you know what I mean? Sasuke, something was wrong. You know, if I was a CEO, I never said I was one or would be one, but if I happened to be one, I would have noticed that. Sasuke, you don't want your hamburger? His neighbor's like, hey, shoot it. Hey, fuck that. What the hey, but that's your homeboy. He's a northerner. I know, but at the same time, I'm hungry, right? Boom, toma. You can have it. Un hamburger. The hamburglar. Anyways, so he started to not eat, and he went all the way down to 77 pounds. Now, the moral to this profile is it happens all the time. And it's a sad situation that this Vato Carlos Umana had to go through this. You know, it's fault on all sides. On his family side and his side for not getting help. You know, they never got help for this youngster. Everything was swept under the rug. Oh, he was out there being a baboso, sir. And you know the typical Mexicano family. Says, que, there's none of our, he's all right. Give him a Tylenol. Says, que un Advil. He'll be all right. You know what I mean? Says, it ain't that bad. Says, que, but I'm tired. I hear voices. They're telling me to cut myself. Well, so are you going to do it? No. Well, then everything's going to be all right. Says, que, watch out. I'm watching novela. Esmeralda. Go do your chores. That's good. But my brother already did them. Well, then go out and play. Shit. But I'm 20 years old. Well, then go book someone. Get the fuck out of here. I'm trying to watch TV. Whatever his family was doing, and I'm not here to disrespect his family. I'm just throwing 10 on the 2 a little tapatía. It just makes it sound better. At the end of the day, he went through that, and so it was everybody's fault. Of course, when he got incarcerated, he didn't cry out for help to the proper authorities or to the people he should have, you know, because he had his game face on. As a solid Norteno, man, you can't ask for nothing. Sabes que the gente will take care of their own. The raza will back each other's play, and that's it. I know I strived many a times. I starved many a times. I didn't even have deodorant. So I stunk like an onion. But I refused to show face and to show any weakness. You know, sabes que the strive was real. It was forever forward on mine, and the homeboy shot me the little pedazo, just a little piece. Sas, there you go, and I made that shit work. And I made it last forever like he sweat. At the end of the day, I feel for this young buck. I feel for this young man, that went through this. 20 years of age, and he comes in as a 180-pound, stocky little dude and goes out in a coffin weighing 77 pounds. So okay, they lifted like this. You know, it was nothing. The wind was blowing harder than the coffin weighed. And that's a cold situation. Again, I'm not here to disrespect anyone. I'm here to say that we need to focus more on awareness, raza, on this mental illness and mental health. Everyone sweeps it under the rug. No one wants to speak on it or talk about it. So the gun felt that for no other reason I should put it on the forefront. Of course, this is a profiling the life of Carlos Umana, someone who died tragically at a very young age and went before his time. But at the end of the day, man, it's something that happens daily, yearly, monthly to the dumb motherfuckers see clearly. Then I'm down with the capital CPT. Orderly. Boy, you can't fuck with me. Easy E. You already know what it is. Anyways, at the end of the day, Carlos Umana, wherever you're at, my brother, whether it be up or down, man, it's all love and respects for the strive and for the way you carried yourself. At the end of the day, it was not this young man's fault that he went through this. No one knows what triggers this. No one knows if you're born with it, if it's a disease that just happens, if something in your life causes this. But at the same time, it's up to us as raza to be aware, and as people, period, you know, to be aware. And if we have family members that are struggling and suffering through this, to bear with them and assist them in any way we can. With that being said, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, man, be aware, vato, because that's could save your motherfucking life one time for your mind, man. Hit that thumbs up if you like this spiel. If you like it, please like and subscribe. If you don't, you can hit that thumbs down. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Remember, at the end of the day, when the day ends, so it's good. Not the night when the fuck going over the rainbow. I'm talking about when the sun goes down and the day ends. Stay aware. You know, be aware and help anyone if you can. If you can't, I understand. You know, you might be the one that needs help. The cry out for help doesn't make you look bad, man. It makes you a man. You know, you can only be told no or yes. So I was scared. And more than likely, if it's a righteous individual, he's going to turn that no into a yes. Turn that frown upside down, homie. It's all about respect. It's all about the gun. And I'm going to make shit happen for the gente in the best way possible. Carlos Umana, your profile, it was a privilege and an honor to his familia to go ahead and shine some light on this Vato story. And like I said, nobody is a nobody. If you get what I'm saying, read between the lines. The gun, you already know what it is. We make the heat go boom.